H2kinfosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2kinfosys supports 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus. One-time pay, lifetime access to live classes and videos. H2kinfosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For free demo class, visit H2kinfosys.com.
Hi everyone. Participants, this is Priya here from H2kinfosys, and all the participants, you can make note of my email address. It is priya@h2kinfosys.com. In case you have any sort of technical issues, you can call this number 770-777-1269. Now this is a software testing course that we are conducting. After the completion of this course, you will be able to work as a software tester in the IT projects. And before I start, a couple of instructions to all of you. All the participants will be on mute. So if you have any questions, you're going to use a chat box. Whenever we are discussing something, you have to pay attention. Once I'm done, I'll give you some time to ask your questions and also to make your notes. All right. So we'll be starting with the main part of the QA course that's called as manual testing. Any software that is developed, it should undergo the testing process before we release it to the client. Now, what is testing? How do you define the testing? Testing is all about identifying the defects in the software and also verify the compliance of the software. With the client requirements. So testing is not just identifying the defects in the software, but we also want to make sure that we are meeting the requirements of the client. And the testing is done by the different members of the IT project team at the different levels of the software development. The type of testing that is done by QA, we call it as system testing. So as a QA, you're supposed to do the system testing, and this QA course is all about the system testing that you are supposed to do as a QA. So in this course, we will see what are the different steps of testing, what are the different types of testing, what are the different tools that are used for the testing purpose, what are the different documents that you have to create as a QA, all using the project-based example, and also you'll have the hands-on practice on every topic. And after the session, you'll also receive the materials and videos that you can go through for the revision. Now there are two ways in order to test the software. Either you can do the testing manually, we call it as a manual testing, and we have the automation testing. So manual testing means here we have the human testers who will manually perform the steps, check the behavior of the software, and then provide the results whether the testing has passed or failed. In the automation testing, we have a tool here using which the testing can be done. The automation testing tools will automatically check whether the software is working as per the expectations of the client. And for the testing, we have the testing team, wherein we have a test manager, then we have the test leaders, and then we have the different testers in the team. So when we say testers, these could be the manual testers, automation testers, performance testers, entry-level testers, senior testers. So we have all the different types of testers here included in this group of testers. Then we have the testing steps that are followed. We also call it as SDLC. SDLC means it is software testing life cycle. It's a step-by-step approach to test the software. So we start with the test requirement gathering here. Then we have the test planning and analysis, test design, test implementation and execution, defect reporting and tracking, then the test closure. So these are the different steps that are followed in order to do the testing in the software testing lifecycle. These are the standard steps that will be followed in all the projects. Now let's see how the testing team is organized. We have a project manager. Project manager is the head of the IT project team. And under the project manager, we have the different teams. We have the team of business analyst who will meet the client, gather the requirements. We have the team of architects who will design the software. We have the team of developers who will do the programming. And then we have the team of testers and so on. Now in this testing team, there is a test manager. Test manager will have several testing groups under them. And for each testing group, there is a test leader. There can be as many testing groups as required based on the workload of the project. So based on the workload, any number of testing groups can be hired, and for each testing group there will be one test leader. Now if there are just one or two testing groups, we need not hire the test manager. Instead, there can be a single test leader who can manage one or two teams. So the role of the test manager would be optional. The role of the test manager is optional. Only when there are many testing groups, we can hire the test manager. So this is how the testing team is organized. Now there are different steps to develop the software. We call it as SDLC. SDLC means Software Development Lifecycle. It is a step-by-step approach to develop the software, which includes requirement gathering, then there is planning, analysis of the requirements, design of the software, development, then we have testing, deployment, and then we have the user acceptance testing. So these are the different steps that are followed in order to develop the software. And do you see we have the testing here? So in this testing step, all these activities are performed. Okay, so when we say testing, it includes all the steps of the software testing lifecycle. Now SDLC means it is software development lifecycle. STLC means it is software testing lifecycle. You might find the similar terms here, but then the meaning is completely different. So here requirement gathering is done by the business analyst. Test requirements are gathered by the QA. Planning is done by the project manager, and this is a project plan. Here there is a test plan which is prepared by the test leader. Then we have the design of the software under the SDLC. Test design means design of the test documents. So the meaning is different, but you can find the similar names. Now all of you please go through this. I will wait for 2 minutes. Everybody please take a screenshot of my screen. Read everything from my screen. If you have any questions, you can write your questions on the chat box. Alright. So after every discussion, I will wait for some time so that you can take a screenshot and ask the questions if you have any. in the class and then clarify all your doubts here itself. So I will wait for 2 minutes. Any questions, participants? Please write it on the chat box. Okay, now let me check the questions here from the chat box. We'll take up all the questions together. So do we go through the SDLC process or just SDLC? We'll go through both SDLC and STLC in this QA course. I'm going to explain all these steps in detail, Renu, with the project examples. Yes, both of them, manual and automation, Victoria, both of them are included in our QA course. Does the test design include the design and preparation of the test plan, test cases and test script? Not the test plan, but then test cases and test script. I'm going to explain all these steps in detail. In the SDLC, who will do the planning? It is done by the project manager. Analysis, business analyst. Design by an architect. Now I am going to explain to you each of these steps in detail. The first step that we have is test requirement gathering. Now there is a client. Client means it is an organization for whom we are developing the software. The business analyst from our IT project team will meet the client, gather all the project information, and then share it with the IT project team. That includes project manager, architects, developers, QAs, and the other people in the team. Now, what is your role as a QA? As a QA, you have to do the testing. So, do you see the first step is test requirement gathering? So, here the QA gathers the requirements not directly from the client but from the business analyst. So, in the first step, QA gathers the requirements from the business analyst and other members of the IT project team. To prepare the test documents for testing. For example, the business requirement document and then the functional specification document by the business analyst, design documents, data documents, and so on. So, whatever documents are required by the QA in order to understand the requirements and then prepare for the testing will be gathered from the business analyst and also from the other members of the IT project team. Then we have the next step, planning and analysis. So, what is analysis? Analysis means it is review of project documents for two reasons. One is to identify the errors in the document, and another is to understand the requirements. So, analysis means it is the review of the project documents in order to identify the errors and also understand the requirements. Now, you can go through this and then I will explain the test plan next. All of you, please go through this. I'll give you 2 minutes. And then I will explain to you what is test planning. Any questions, participants? Please write your questions on the chat box. Everybody is done? Now let me check the questions here on the chat box. So what is the role or the duties that are played by the test manager or a test leader. So first I'll tell you the test manager and then the test leader. Test manager is the head of the many testing groups, all right. Test manager is the head of the many testing groups, all right, who will plan and control all the activities of the testing process, monitor the different testing groups whether they have completed the task on time or not. In case if any sort of assistance will be required, it will be provided by the test manager. And also the test manager is a person who will report the progress of the testing process to the project manager. The test leader has a similar role. Test leader will do the planning and controlling, but for one or two testing groups only. Test leader will manage a group of testers, and the roles are almost similar. Basically, the test manager role is the optional one. Whenever we have many testing groups, that time we hire the test manager. Okay. Otherwise, for every group, or let's say every one or two groups of the testers, we have the test leader who will do the planning and controlling. Basically, they have a lead role to play. We have two more questions here. Who gives the test plan and analysis project document to the QA? So, Victoria, it's not that you have to physically take the documents from somebody. All the documents of the project will be stored in some common location. It could be a shared folder or a server where all the documents will have to be stored and you'll be given the access to that. Now, for example, let's say we have the documents that are created by the business analyst, the BRD and FSD. They will have a separate folder wherein the documents will be stored and you will be taking the documents from that particular location. Sometimes there can be also the tools wherein the documents will get uploaded. So usually it is a shared folder or a server from where you can take the documents. Okay, so once the documents are available, everybody will be officially informed in the team and you can download the documents from a particular folder or a server. The project IT teams schedule the reviews of the BRD, FSD design, etc. with the QA team? Yes. So once the documents are made available to everybody in the team, everybody is supposed to go through the documents. The meetings will be conducted wherein the documents will be explained, or let's say the requirements will be explained to the different testers in the team. It could be either a formal or the informal process. And all the information of the project will be provided to the different testers in the team. Okay. So that comes under the analysis. Now, what is this test plan document, how it looks like, and how the test planning is done? This we will be discussing in the next session. So to give you a recap of today's class, this is a manual testing that we have started the topic, and we have discussed what is software, how it is, what is the meaning of testing, what type of testing is done by the QA, what are the two different ways of testing the software. We have manual and automation. Then the testing team organization. What are the different steps of software testing lifecycle? So in tomorrow's session, we will discuss the test plan document. Okay. So this is what we had to discuss in today's class, participants. We will meet tomorrow at the same time. All right. Okay then. Thanks everyone, and everyone have a good day.